Shady's back. Backstreet's back.
Backstreet's back.
The Mac.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
The Mac returned. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
You lied to me. No, we're not doing that. Although now I do have to listen to that song after we're done here because now it started.
That's just how it goes.
In my brain.
This is the way we should kick the fall season off. I agree.
You mean winter?
Or winter.
The winter season?
This is the way we should have kicked the fall season off.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
You were in Japan?
I was in Japan.
Yep.
But now we can get this stuff started real early and on time.
Yeah. Actually talk about some first episodes on the week that they came out. Not all of them, because we still got to have that poll, but...
Which is already out now? By the time of listening to this?
Should be out by the time this comes out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because we're gonna film that video right after this, and that's gonna be like just the quickest turnaround we can crank that out. Cause
Okay.
You get it to me, I'll get it done, and we'll get it up.
Yeah, that's gonna be first priority because we want to know what we have to watch for next week.
It helps knowing in advance. That's why I was like, you're like, oh yeah, we're watching Junji Ito and Cardcaptor Sakura. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know. But hey, it's whatever.
Yeah. It's last week was a blur of editing and trying not to have a cold.
That was us. Was that the first week?
That was
all us coming back.
Yeah.
Everything's a blur to me too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it was good. I think this watching session was fun, and there was a lot of stuff. I watched anime without needing to watch it for this show, and I haven't done that in a long time.
God, right?
So that was cool. I can already see this bearing fruit in other avenues. So it was nice.
Yeah. You know what else I did over the last little while? I ordered a fuck ton of Gantz manga.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because I want to
So
actually
good.
finish that up.
Yeah, I got to finish it too.
Were you able to find it at a decent price? Because last time we talked.
Yeah, some yes, some no. Apparently the Gantz manga is out of print now. So, yeah. So certain, like most volumes are still like, like 15 bucks.
Dark Horse, right?
Maybe Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Like 15 bucks, maybe 20, like not unreasonable. And then other volumes are just like can't be had for less than 300.
You know?
Holy hell.
Right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's...
So,
wow, okay.
So yeah, I just, everything that was at a normal price, I just ordered like, okay, well, I don't want this to suddenly get expensive.
Yeah.
But I mean, as I have found out with my economics experiments with the fine works of FX9, those things do tend to fluctuate as new copies are uncovered in some warehouse somewhere. Like prices do go down periodically.
You should explain what you're talking about, because I get it. I don't know if they get it.
Yeah. People. So Kieran, Grant, and Nick, our lovely coworkers, every Thursday night stream the Metal Gear Solid series, and every Thursday night up until recently, because a couple Thursdays in a row I just couldn't. While people are waiting for the stream to start, I will hop on audio only and read a chapter a week of the Worlds of Power novelization of Metal Gear by FX9.
He's printed by Scholastic.
Yeah. This dude in the 90s who would approach these Japanese companies and say, hey, can I write a junior novelization of your video game? And most of them would say, yeah, sure. We don't give a shit what Americans do.
You're right.
You gonna cut us in for however much of the profits? Then yeah, fucking go nuts.
Yeah.
And yeah, had like no creative input from the Japanese side, would just play the game and kind of figure out what he wanted to happen from there.
Yep.
Yeah, just works of sheer brilliance.
Fantastic.
Yeah. and I noticed that, so I bought my copy of it and it was like $8.
Yeah.
And then once I started doing this, people started ordering their own copies. And of course, this has been out of print for decades, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So the price went up and at one point reached like $80.
That's so good.
Yeah, because...
affecting the market here.
Yeah, because all supply and demand, they all got bought up.
All 20 of them in the wild.
Yeah, exactly. And then after a while, like more copies were resurfaced and got put out for sale and the price went down. And so, of course, I tweeted out, hey guys, it's cheap again. Get it while it's cheap. And they all got bought up and the price went up. And we've gone through this cycle like 3 times now. And we will keep doing it until the price stabilizes at way too high.
Oh man, that's right. False demand. I love it.
Yeah. And if I were a worse person, the first time I noticed this happening, I would have bought up all the copies and cornered the market. But I'm not in this for the money, fam. I am in this for the evil.
And true evil transcends money.
Yes. Money is a mere tool by which evil might be committed.
Yeah. Buy up all the out-of-print manga, corner it, never sell it.
Guys, can I steal your warmth for a second?
Absolutely.
Can we talk about Ancient Magus Bride?
Oh, okay.
I need to breed. I need to lay an egg, and I need your warmth to do it.
Were they already like in the gestation process, or was that like, bam, I got your hand equals egg?
I think that was the last bit of warmth that needed to make its egg.
All right. I'm just wondering if it's like, if it like someone turns on the microwave and now we got eggs all over the kitchen floor.
I mean, these are magical creatures. They don't necessarily need to fuck, as far as we know.
Yeah.
But maybe.
Pokemon don't fuck.
As far as you know.
They don't.
And you know much better than I do, so I will trust you.
I don't know. I think I need to meet a breeder first. Besides you two.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I mean, obviously these little woolly flying sheep spirit creatures were adorable as fuck. I could have done with just a little less of them screen time wise to free up more screen time for the back half of the episode, which was the really interesting, like, let's get into some of that deep character shit.
Yeah, the stuff with Elias in this is really important. Because we talked a little bit about conflict between the two of them, and we saw so much progress last season that there was this little part of me that was wondering, how is the conflict going to arise? Because there has to be some stumbling blocks. And
and not only for narrative purposes, but also just for verisimilitude purposes.
Yeah.
Things don't go smoothly in real life. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And this felt like a step back for Elias, because, it is certainly the most authoritarian we've seen him.
And for a moment, I was kind of taken aback, but it did not seem out of character.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I was a little upset. I'm like, really? Like, I thought we were getting some development, but then as it kept going, I was like, no, not makes sense. The more like Chisei was talking about it, like, no, he's just a kid. He doesn't even know what the feeling that his loneliness really is. Yep. Like, he's just now getting to understanding basic feelings, so I doubt he can reciprocate anything right now. I don't know.
Well, and see, you want to talk about development. The development that we got here was on Chisei's side. Because one of the things I said the first week of this show back last fall was, I want to see Chisei learn how to set boundaries for herself. And 100%, she bitch slaps his staff out of her face.
True.
Like, no, this is mine, and you will not take this from me. Yeah. And I loved seeing that. I loved seeing her willing to do that. Like, no hesitation, no prevarication, just like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. I also did think it was amazing, just the sheer, on the entire flip side of the coin, the sheer delight on Elia's face when they talk about being lonely. Like, that was one of those, like, instant relatable things to me. Like, a year and a half ago at this point, when I had been working from home. This was in Tucson before I moved out here. I'd been working from home for, I don't know, maybe 6 months at that point, freelancing, doing work for Team 4 Star. And I remember realizing, man, I am so grouchy lately. I'm snapping at people. I just feel lousy, and I don't know why. And then I had to think about it and analyze it and realized, wait, when is the last time I left the house? When is the last time I talked to another human being face to face and not over Skype or in text messages? Oh shit, I'm lonely. Exact same experience because I am a total introvert to the point where, I have the same social needs as anybody else, but they are usually met without me having to think about it because I just need less of that. And that need gets met by coming into the office, talking to you guys, doing this show. Like, I'm a pretty simple man when it comes to that. So I had no strategies to deal with not getting that need met. That was the first time in my life I had to deal with feeling lonely. Yeah.
No, that's pretty relatable. And that's why I was like taken aback. Like, really? Like, you're going to do that? Like, you're pulling out you don't need that memory. We'll do all this shit. Okay, whatever. But him saying, like, okay, I understand how that feeling is. That was good development. I wish Chisei would have, I don't know, because that conversation just kind of tails off. Elias just goes like, okay, you're going to be my human teacher. That's what you are. I'm like, man, come on, dude. I was hoping Chisei would push for a bit more, but I don't know. Maybe I'm asking for too much.
Considering her development is only at a blooming stage, I wouldn't expect too much out of that. There's still going to be that give and take, and there was a lot of that did happen in this episode. Not to mention, I don't want things to move too quickly, otherwise we start running out of plot.
How long is the manga, though? Do you know?
We have... Gosh, I did know that. We still have, like, many, like, at least 20 chapters left.
Yeah. Okay.
So...
Alrighty.
Yeah, the sense I've gotten, I have no idea how accurate this is that it doesn't seem like the manga's still ongoing is the other thing, to my knowledge. It doesn't seem like they're planning to catch up to the manga in this 24-episode run.
They might.
Okay.
They might.
Maybe.
The thing I'm really worried about is as somebody who does not read the manga, I am a little bit concerned that either we'll get a filler ending or we're going to get a very unsatisfying ending.
Just hope we don't get a fucking Soul Eater, dude.
Dude, no, that would be the worst.
I don't think... I have faith in this team because this team loves this source material. I feel like it's gonna be fine overall, but I don't know. Kind of skipping ahead a bit. The transition to her being a fox. How long's that gonna happen? Are we gonna see this resolved next episode? They just totally dropped that. I don't know.
Actually, before we get to that point, though, and I see our lovely cameraman / researcher has something for us here.
Oh yeah.
42 chapters so far. Each chapter is 30 pages. I'm looking up now to see where they are.
42 chapters with 30 pages.
I'm
Okay.
looking currently to see where they are.
Okay, and he's checking where we are in the anime because that is one thing. Like I was very curious about because we were just talking about the opening too.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the opening?
What was there to talk about? It's bad. it's a bad opening. It's a spectacularly bad opening. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm being too mean to it, but I don't like the I don't like the song. I don't like the singer. I don't like the visuals. It's a clip show of the last season with some new stuff.
Very sparse new stuff. A lot of old shit.
I would not go so far as to say spectacularly bad. I would say aggressively average. Like, it is, it's there, it's functional. I know we had some disagreements over the relative quality of the last opening, which
I would take it over this.
People, I think people will have seen by now on the Fuck Buddies. I don't know. This is kind of a weird thing because this is going to be coming out in the middle of the Fuck Buddies, so I'm not sure what people will have seen yet.
Oh, okay.
People will not have seen the opening or us talking about the openings yet.
Okay, well, we won't go too much more into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like egregious, but yeah, I don't like the song as much, and the last opening was kind of like a 50-50 split between this kind of abstract thematic stuff and clip show.
Yeah.
This just takes that to all clip show all the time.
It's just, it's so lazy.
Yeah.
Yes, you in the back.
Season 1 ended on episode 18 or chapter 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Season 1 ended on chapter 18.
Yes. So
out
we're
of
gonna
42, out of 42.
Okay, so yeah, if they're not catching up, they'll
darn close.
probably be coming close.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I suspect is that they've probably they're probably going to end on the end of another arc.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, that's sort of frustrating. I mean, I don't mind so much. Maybe we'll get another season later, but with shows like this, it's really up in the air. I wouldn't expect a second proper, like, a sequel series to the Ancient Magus Bride. That makes me sort of sad.
Yeah, because I can't see them doing like Ancient Magus Bride season 2 in 3 years.
Yeah,
that's very
exactly.
rare. Like I can only think of Kaiji got that, but that was so rare. That is definitely the exception. I don't know. I hope this ends well because that was my mindset going into this. I was like, okay, we're halfway through this series. Where's it going to go? And I guess that was where a lot of my tension was for this. I was hoping that we'd see a bit more picking up at the halfway point.
And I know a lot of people will tell you, read the manga.
Yeah.
There are some shows I flat out enjoy watching more than I enjoy reading. And honestly, I don't think I could go to the manga after watching Ancient Magus Bride. What they do with the music,
visuals and the sound, no, man.
Yeah, and just the color. It is such a colorful show. imagining going from that to black and white sounds real rough.
Oh yeah, like all the dialogue that's in there, like it's the color of your hair, that bright, that sunset red. Oh wow, it's the color of your hair. That was lifted specifically from the manga because they had to tell you what the color was because they couldn't just show you.
Yeah.
But going back to something I was about to bring up, and this is something that the audience has brought up that I didn't necessarily notice the significance of at the time. Remember that bird that brings the message from the Sorcerer's College?
Yeah, they're emphasizing that a lot.
Yeah, well, because there was in not last episode, but the one before, I think, there was a blink and you miss it shot where you see Silky burying that bird in one of the, that mechanical bird in one of the flower pots in his little, like, greenhouse area.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, and it lingers on that flower pot again in this episode when Shisei asks, hey, but what happened here while I was away? And he says, oh, nothing much. Some birds came around, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
It is very clearly, like, sending the message, like, yo, he is not going to talk to her about this. He is...
Well, he's not going to tell her about the call that he got. And I think like whether or not he heeded the words from, oh God, I forget his name.
Renfred.
Yeah. Whether or not he heeds the words of Renfred, obviously, and I don't begrudge him at all for this, he's not going to talk about that conversation because that was a private conversation between him and them. What he does with it is what matters to me.
I don't know. Like, I'm thinking back to that first episode where she asks, well, I don't, like, about being his apprentice, being his bride, being all that stuff. And she says, well, I don't really have a choice, do I? And he at first laughs, says, not really. But then says, but actually, I mean, there's lots of different roads you could go down. Like, this is him taking a choice away from her. And it's hard to say whether that's, like, how justified that is with how little we've seen of the sorcerers and how conflicting it's been. Like, they seem to largely be a bunch of jerks, but Renfred seems all right at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, like, this is him keeping a rather significant secret from her. Like, hey, yeah, you have this option open to you, except you don't because I'm taking it from you. Like, that's kind of ominous.
I mean, okay, maybe it's just because it's the first episode since she got back. I don't feel like there's been a whole lot of opportunity for him to let her start doing things yet because he's still teaching her. And he did just let her go off, again, to the Land of Dragons without him. I don't know. I feel like we haven't gotten the opportunity for him to let her do these things because it's not really an option that he's taking away. He's still trying to teach her and learn from her. And again, I could not imagine him talking to her about that conversation. I would definitely not bring that up because that's just awkward.
Yeah, but I think it's mostly the fact that they're focusing on it they keep drawing attention to it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
what could that be?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's clearly what the narrative wants you to think, which is kind of separate from what, from what we're prepared to read into it.
Yeah.
But I think I'm sort of with the narrative on this one. Like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up to not even tell her. Like, here's the thing: her experience of the magical world is largely through him. If he brought it up, like, it is entirely up to him the way to frame that. If he brings that up as, hey, by the way, remember those sorcerers? They're real interested in you, and I think that's a bad thing, and I don't think you should have anything to do with them. Like, what's she gonna say? No, fuck you, I'm running away from home, and I'm gonna, but he is not trusting her with even that much.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I don't know. I think that's iffy.
I think we'll have to see how that develops. I think that'll be important to see, like, in the next couple of episodes, whether or not that goes anywhere. Although now Chisei's a fox, so...
Yeah, so there's that.
I know, it's just, okay, that's the last shot we get.
Yeah, so yeah, this, like, hooded, robed figure comes up, knocks on the door late at night. Elias says he's millennia old, like thousands of years old, is not human.
Yeah.
But he comes around to chat from time to time. And he says to kind of be careful around him, but seems to at least, like, he's not like, hey, fuck you, get out. He's like, seems open to talking to this guy, and then boom, cheese has a fox.
You know what I actually think this is going to be?
What's that?
Is I don't know, we haven't gotten a lot of like super conflict aside from like the stuff with Joseph. I am predicting this is going to be like the dragons. It looks like she's in peril, but he's actually like, oh, I want to turn you into a fox to teach you a life lesson. Here you go. Now she's back.
Maybe. I mean,
it could be, although
the fact that Elias didn't do like anything. I don't know.
It could be, although this dude seems pretty threatening. Like,
yeah, because she has that
threatening.
sight when she like looks through the necklace that she has. You see him for a bit, and he looks terrifying.
by the way, I didn't need an introduction to what that does, but it's crazy that it does that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that she could just look through and then see the real faces of people. And the first time we see that happen, it is a very creepy scene.
Yeah, because earlier in the episode,
it's like a montage of her like hanging out in the household. By the way, during this montage, very clearly, if you read between the lines, this is where linearly, this is where the OVA happens. That first 3 episode, yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, now I absolutely need to watch them. I keep meaning to, and I keep forgetting.
Well, we will see. Like, I will 100% sit down and talk to you guys about them. I would be interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
We have a lot to watch for next
I
week,
know.
so we'll see whether you. If
I'm not rushing to add anything.
Yeah, with 10 episodes of Devilman.
Yeah, you guys got to catch up on that.
And then all the and then everything like 11 minimum just our normal thing, and some of those are going to have 2 episodes out by the time next week rolls around. So I mean, we'll see.
Anime to watch.
Have you seen the first episode of Devilman yet?
Yes, I have.
Oh man. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Guys, real quick, since I thought that we were discussing Devilman for today, Scott asked if I'd watched any of it yet the other day, and I said, yeah, just the first no, actually, I hadn't at the time. And you said, okay, then the only thing I'll say is I really want to hear your plot summary. I really want to hear you fucking try to summarize this.
Yeah, sure.
Guys, you want to hear my plot summary?
What was your plot summary of
all right,
Devilman Crybaby?
Yeah.
Yep. My plot summary for episode 1 of Devilman Crybaby, which I have to concentrate every time in order to not call it Devil May Crybaby.
I know. Yeah.
Akira is a sensitive young man who cries easily. Ryo is a sociopath who hates the weak and wants to kill them since they'll die soon anyway. Look out, Felix and Oscar, because there's a new odd couple in town. These two are best friends because reasons. And when Ryo tells Akira that an ancient race of devils are emerging and possessing people, Akira immediately believes him because reasons. And when Ryo wants Akira's help infiltrating a satanic drug orgy rave so that they can prove that devils exist, Akira immediately and happily agrees because fucking reasons. Hey Berserk fans, remember the eclipse? The rest of the episode is pretty much that, only without the disturbing yet believable character motivations that lent it depth and meaning to elevate it beyond mindless exploitative sex and violence. Sound like fun yet?
Man.
So there's your sneak preview of next week. We'll be talking. We'll give it its own video so we can just talk all we want about all 10 episodes. But yeah,
Man, I'm not gonna say a damn word because I won't stop.
Yeah. I've only seen 1 episode, and
here's the thing. As long as we're on the subject, I saw something Devilman years and years and years ago. This is
probably.
This is one of those like misty early memories of renting a VHS tape from Blockbuster back when.
There were. I think the OVA was at Blockbuster. One of the OVAs.
I think that's what it was because I've also seen footage of like an earlier, I think, series.
Yeah, there was a way old series.
And it was not that. It was newer than that. This would have been like.
It was probably like late 80s, early 90s OVA.
Yeah, I mean, I would have seen it in the mid to late 90s. So yeah.
Yeah, it was probably one of those.
Yeah.
Because those were dubbed and brought over here.
Yeah.
Go Nagai has always been one of those mangaka who gets a billion adaptations of his material, but due to the nature of said material, is always dramatically changed no matter how it gets adapted. Huh?
Nothing.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
It's just Yuasa's visuals. That's it.
Yeah. which mean a lot though. Like you just say it's just Yuasa.
No, I'm saying it's just Yuasa's visuals is the only thing different. It's pretty darn close.
It's close. Yeah, it's close to the source material in
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that more when when the other 2/3 of us actually know what we're talking about beyond the first episode. But in the meantime, before we move on to Junji Ito, anything else Magus related?
About Magus?
I don't think so.
I feel like I've said my piece.
The ending's boring too.
Yeah.
And then again, I don't even think I watched the entirety of the first ending because halfway through it, every time I got bored.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The first ending was I like the song.
Yeah.
But it starts out with just credits scrolling on a black screen.
Yeah.
Skip.
And yeah,
It took me several episodes till I realized that it was more than just that.
it took me up until I realized that we were going to have a best ending category on the Fuck
You had
Buddies.
to watch it.
Yeah, and I figured, I should
Hey.
probably watch. So yeah, I went through because I had to make up the nominee list too, is the thing. So I went through and watched everything's opening and ending all the way through, so they would be fresh in my mind.
Yeah, I usually skip endings. But
Yeah, unless they're really something special.
it's got to hook me right away, or I'm
Yeah,
out.
and even something that I really like the MMO Junkie ending. It's like
I don't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I'll watch a few seconds of it just to kind of decompress and collect my thoughts,
Yeah.
and then it's on to the next thing.
I think I watched it all the way through a couple times. Not like the opening, which I watched
Every
Yeah.
time I watch
Yeah.
that fucking opening.
Yeah.
That's good.
I watched that opening on my free time. Actually, I found the whole version, put it on the back, and I'm like,
It's good.
Guys,
Are you yelling at us?
oh,
Okay.
He's yelling at us.
Hey, good timing.
yeah. Let's come back on the other side of this camera swap and talk about some Junji Ito. Be right back. Guys, Junji Ito Collection is weird.
Yeah.
Or at
Yes.
least this episode of it was, and I expect it to continue to be weird. I hope it continues to be weird.
Yes.
I would sort of like it to be weird and better.
Yeah. Again, this was a poor choice of Junji Ito's material because he's all about setup and then subversion with his comedy.
Yeah, setup twist, that's usually it.
And if you're not familiar with his horror material, then his comedy material kind of just feels quirky and eclectic, but also sort of unsatisfying.
Yes, because you're expecting a payoff for any of this, and you don't get any of it.
Because his comedy is almost like a parody of his actual
Yes.
horror.
Yeah, because his horror also, because if you're not familiar with his horror, he is the closest to Lovecraft you will get in like Eastern horror for a lot of stuff. It's a lot of cerebral, subtle things. People see crazy stuff, they go insane, or just like concepts are so crazy. Like Uzumaki is just the concept of a spiral. How maddening! Like it's a lot of stuff like that, and so there's very little payoff to what's the big bad. It's the thought, it's the concept, the idea that this thing is scary is what's scary.
Like, okay, let's take a look at forget the whole first segment. It actually, for the most part, works as its own thing as long as you are familiar with Junji Ito. The last one is more infuriating to me and is more
Yes.
indicative of why it's going to be a problem to adapt Junji Ito's material. Because, okay, so it's actually kind of creepy, right?
Oh, yeah.
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 I was watching and I'm like, oh God, so their child is turned into a doll, and they talk about the fact that usually people burn them, but we can't do that, and then it slowly just turns into something
decomposes.
way more terrifying. And
Yeah.
conceptually, like that's odd, but you could if you read the manga telling of it, it works better because you turn the
page
page
turn, yeah.
and you see it, and you turn the page and it gets worse. Here, though, with the narration and the music and the color and all of these things working together, it kind of cuts down on how creepy and eerie it is because you're no longer turning the page to see this
You're like
deconstruction.
swelling up to something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like, and that's why in that final shot of just that crazy looking demon that we get at the end, that is far more terrifying in a manga format as opposed to here where it's just like, okay, that's really fucking creepy and scary and wow.
It didn't help that I was confused because for the first while of that, I'm like, is this the next episode preview?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a whole episode? No, I think this is just because they had some more running time to fill, let's adapt this other story too, maybe.
Yeah, because he has a lot of really short, like just one chapter things.
Yeah.
He had his catalog is enormous, and I want to see more of like the short stuff. I'm okay. Like I hated that episode of Kino's when they had a bunch of the short ones back to back to back. I think they might work here, but I don't know. I'll have to see, because I think this was definitely the better part of the episode. I just think it was poorly paced because they crammed it in. If they gave this like maybe 1 or 2 more minutes and really kind of slowed it up, stop, hard cut, dun dun dun, could have been more fun. I don't know.
Yeah, not to mention, and okay, so this might sound weird. I think Junji Ito's material, especially the last scene, might have worked better in live action.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Like there's a lot of his visual material that I think would be disturbing in live action, but in animation, unless you have this perfect, it's sort of interesting because it's all about timing, right?
Yeah.
It's all about when you expect to see it and how it's delivered, and I'm just not sure. And this is why Junji Ito's material has never been adapted to anime. Like it very rarely. It got a movie for one of his things,
which I haven't watched, but I heard a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah. I just don't know how they're going to do it because, again, somebody pointed out, I think it was actually Jacob Chapman over on Anime News Network, pointed out that when it comes to adaptation, there's always a give and take. You're always going to lose something, but it's about what you gain. And I'm a little bit concerned that they're going to try and stick as close as they can, panel for panel, and that's going to be to its detriment.
Yes.
And I don't know. Junji Ito's a master at this sort of material. Like he's renowned as one of the greatest horror storytellers in Japan. So who knows?
Yeah, but this first story with creepy voodoo child kid.
Again,
It's in tone. It reminded me of Goosebumps, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
yeah, that's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah, like it's horror, but it's it's kind of winking at the audience a little bit. It's got some comedy to it, and it's very like for horror. It's pretty PG at the end of the day. It's not showing you a bunch of blood and guts. It's not Devilman. It's not showing you titty monsters.
Yeah.
Why not?
And boy, that was a jarring transition to go from that to Devilman, which was the order. That was the order that I.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch this horror thing. Oh, real scary. Devilman for the kids. Well. But
or like scary stories to tell in the dark. Like,
yes, yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. Like, those are things that I have real positive memories of from being a kid. Like, if more of it is like that, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I just hope it's like that, but better. There are some episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark that are still pretty good as an adult. There are some that play well with the psychological element that really don't focus a lot on the hows and the whys and focus on the crazy shit. This, I don't know. I think ultimately this was a poor choice of a story, but I'm also more so worried about how it's being presented. I mentioned this in the initial segment, but I kept hearing like these strings and this piano when he's just like kind of talking to himself. Like, just shut up. Turn off the music.
I'm kind of here or there on that because this is supposed to be like funnier.
Yeah, it is a little more lighthearted.
So I felt like the music was kind of in tandem with the tone that they were trying to set with this whole segment.
It might just be this choice of story and everything they're doing with it I don't like.
I mean, again, I've said it over and over. I think this just was a poor choice for a first episode.
Positive note, I do like when they want to, they know how to make some of the characters look like unique and disturbed. Nobody looks the same, which is what I enjoy. Junji Ito, like the thing with him, they're still carrying over well enough is that the characters, for all like pretty blasé dudes, none of them look the same. And the characters that are supposed to look creepy do look creepy. The kid's like eyes that he had, like the lines, are very consistent.
It is hilarious how out of place he is with everybody else, and everyone still tries to treat him like nice enough. Like his big brother still goes out there and saves his dumb ass. By the way, the hallmark that this is 100% a comedy is that is an outfit that he wears at the end with the stilts and everything. That is something that he made and put on and somehow got to work. What the hell?
He's if you guys haven't seen it yet, he's walking around in like an ant costume with giant stilts chasing this dude throughout the forest, and it's ridiculous.
Everything up to that point had been clearly supernatural. Like he does a little thing with a voodoo doll. He does, the classic nails in the stomach. Oh, his victim doubles over in pain. He like drops a spider on it, and the guy sees a freaky, hallucinates a spider going on. That one could almost have just been a totally mundane prank where he lures this guy out into the forest and then spooks him with a spooky costume.
Yeah. And it does. It's after you mentioned Goosebumps, I can't unthink that now. That's exactly what it is. It's the kid in the costume and then, oh no, here's the real monster. But we didn't get that.
I mean, it was actually spectacularly toothless in terms of overall horror, which again makes me feel like,
again, this is the choice of story for this. This would have been fun in the middle after we had some bangers, like some crazy shit. And then in the middle, let's take a breather. Let's goof off with this dumb kid. Okay, back to the crazy shit.
But what you were just saying about how everybody tries to be reasonably nice to him, it's not that they don't notice that he's a weirdo. They obviously do, but they don't seem to take nearly enough notice of the fact that this kid is clearly disturbed.
Yeah.
Like anybody who acts like this in the U.S., let alone in Japan, where there is so much more emphasis on conformity and, anybody who acts like this kid does is getting called into the counselor's office. He's taking special classes. He's going to a therapist after school. And here everybody just kind of shrugs their shoulders and goes, hey, dude, stop being weird. It's like, no, he is not acting a little weird. He is clearly disturbed. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And not all horror needs to be realistic that way.
Yeah.
But because it wasn't giving me enough else to go on, that's what I was constantly sitting there thinking.
Again, because as I said before, Junji Ito's comedies play out like a parody of his horror.
Yeah, because in his horror, people will still be aloof to things going on. They will consistently go against, no, whatever, that's just crazy, and then something happens. It's the kind of the tropey Final Destination, whatever your popcorn ass horror movie thing. You get a lot of dumb kids.
Yeah.
But
and in here we just see again, he is clearly disturbed and people still kind of just treat him like whatever. And I think that was supposed to definitely be part of the comedy, but it doesn't work here. Not as a first episode. If you don't know anything about Junji Ito, this is okay.
Dude, this is one of the best horror mangaka, and he got a cartoon. Let's watch it.
Yeah.
That was my mentality. I'm like, oh, okay.
In fact, if they do a more classic story of his in the second episode, I might just say, skip the first episode.
Watch it later after you've seen everything. That might be what I end up going on.
And if it's good.
Yeah.
Because, man, if, I'm totally willing and happy to give the Junji Ito Collection 3 episodes to wow me.
Yeah.
But if my fears stay true, man, I'm going to be kind of disappointed. I won't lie to you. Because, again, Junji Ito, big deal. Kind of suck if his first animated series fails.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have much more to say other than that.
Yeah.
I hope the next episode's better.
Yep. Yeah. Well, let's talk about Kokkoku.
Yeah.
Kokkoku! So, for those of you who tuned into the last segment, I actually had to kind of make this my lock at the last minute because Cardcaptor Sakura cleared card Saga was not going to happen with both of these guys. I don't know. Have you seen all?
I haven't seen the end, but I've watched I know I've watched at least 12, maybe 20 episodes as a kid.
Yeah.
But what happened? I couldn't fucking tell you.
Yeah.
I know the characters.
So
that's about it.
And you barely got anything.
Yeah,
so
I watched the first 4 episodes of the classic series, and then I didn't realize that it was starting this week. I thought I had another week to watch at least a little bit more.
Nope.
Yeah.
It seems like you're gonna have to have seen the ending to understand this one.
Yeah.
From what I gather.
You absolutely do.
You know what? Since we're getting into it, let's put off Kokkoku.
Yeah, do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Let's have the Scott. Why should we give a shit about Cardcaptor Sakura? Why should 35-year-old men in the year 2018? Because that's watching the original series. That was my big question. Is this is clearly high quality for what it is. The animation, the shading, it is very well constructed, very well done.
like, let me put this forward. I watched the original Cardcaptor Sakura when I was like 15, maybe. Mm-hmm. So I was closer to the age range of when like people are supposed
yeah, you were target demo for that one.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, Cardcaptor Sakura is definitely aimed at the 10-year-old crowd. But then again, when it comes to anime, especially
it fluctuates enough.
Yeah. For me, Cardcaptor Sakura is my favorite magical girl series out of all of them. It's basically Sailor Moon, Madoka, and then the rest of them are this varying degree of like, that's kind of neat, but no thanks. I never saw Princess Tutu.
Oh, you would love it.
Yeah, I'm sure I would. I really want to watch
You would
Princess.
love it.
Yeah. But Cardcaptor Sakura kind of embodies a lot of the things I love about magical girl shows. She always has these new outfits, which is amazing. I can't believe they went out of their way. Almost every episode, she has a newly designed costume that all look as good as the last one. And when they don't, they're specifically eclectic and very entertaining. Because Tomoe, her partner in crime, continues to make them for her every episode. And there was that design aesthetic that all on its own, I was like, wow, that's kind of clever. But moreover, it's the world building that they do with her powers, her friends, her backstory, and the relationship she makes, and the fact that the show is just beautiful at times. Like it is, the original series is gorgeous when it wants to be.
Yeah.
This was before we had 3D, any CG, so it was all cell drawn, all delightful. You know, when you got Wendy, like when she summons her cards, when she summons her powers, when she, claims those cards, and she always does the incantation with the animation. It's just beautiful stuff, really great story, and something I also enjoyed about it, which thank God they seem to be sticking with in this newer season, is that there's no fan service. Like not in the sense of like seeing up Sakura's skirt or getting.
Well, why would you need to? She doesn't wear pants half the time.
Yeah.
Like.
Or hold on.
I felt creeped out watching half of this. I'm sorry, dude.
Which is weird because she never does anything that shows that off much. I mean, yeah, sure. She usually doesn't wear pants. She wears that short skirt. But at no point do
well, that's just a part of what anime is. That's part of the genre. I don't even notice that anymore. But half of her costumes, which I do agree, it is cool that there's a newly designed costume every episode. I think it's an interesting. I don't know shit about magical girls. I've watched maybe 10 minutes total of Sailor Moon, but I do through osmosis know that part of that genre is they transform.
Yeah.
I think it is a cool subversion of that idea. Like, no, that's not part of her magical girl transformation. She's just got her friend who is a fan of that genre who's like, no, you gotta have a costume.
You're a magical girl. I gotta do this for you.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Like, that's real cute. Why do half of those need to have her in panty bottoms?
Because it's for children. And
that doesn't make it better. That makes it worse.
That's fine.
It never felt sexual to me. I'm sorry. It never felt sexual to me.
I never got that vibe either.
Yeah. Like, very specifically, she's never in moments where,
I mean, it's not as egregious as it could have been, but...
But that's just it, though. The tone that the show sets is that this is innocent. Like, there's nothing... Like, when she wears these things, there's nothing sexualized about them, even though they show things off. And that's the difference, I feel like, between a girl, okay, say you take a regular girl and you put her in a one-piece bathing suit. Is that sexual, or is she going to the beach?
Why is she fighting evil in a one-piece bathing suit? That's
because
not
the
beach.
Because the guy likes magical girls, and it's just that's why. But yeah, you're not gonna sell him on Cardcaptor.
It's taking it like there is a context where bathing suits are appropriate. It's called the beach. This is not that. Why is she in a bathing suit?
She never... Again, it rarely shows off anything but her legs. That's the worst you ever get, and they're never sexualized. So I don't see, like, you see, I'm 99% of the time, I'm right over here going, like, this is gross, I don't like it, I don't, like, I
get that it's part of the genre. That's why I don't watch this genre, because it's weird to my American sensibilities.
Yeah, and
nobody has ever been able to adequately explain why there's another context where this is less weird.
No, I don't think there is. It's just this is not for you. Sometimes just things don't click. I grew up on this shit, and I think that's why I'm okay with it, because it's framed in a way that you are a kid. Hey, adults wear this kind of thing. Wouldn't it be cool to also be able to wear that and be confident in yourself? That's it.
You know, the comparison that I would make is that in Sailor Moon, you always have them running around in the short skirts and the outfits, and they're 100% supposed to look attractive.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot deny that the Sailor Moon girls, like, and it's not so, horn doggy as it is like, oh yeah, nice, way to go, great body. It's kind of like this classic 1950s pinup style with the girls, which is something I've always improved more of than, say the ones where their boobs, like they've got the boob window, or they're always like following in positions where like their legs are open.
That said, the Sailor Scouts are not, to my knowledge, 10 years old. They're young, but not 10 years old.
They're
young.
like 12 years old.
Oh well, then that's creepy too.
Yeah,
I thought they were. No, they're in high school, aren't they?
Yeah.
No, they start off in middle school.
Oh, that's right.
Oh well, then that's real
that's
weird.
Yeah, no, it. Trust me, it is. But with Cardcaptor Sakura,
they're also drawn older, which does make it slightly different.
And again, look at the art for Cardcaptor Sakura. She's not drawn with curves. She's not drawn like with accentuating those parts of her. Again, I just don't mind the outfits because they never come off as look at this sexy little girl and more look at our crazy, great-looking costume. And that's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, but you could have a costume that's just as cool and crazy looking with pants, though.
Well, she's got a ton of those outfits. It's like,
they could all be that, and then I would feel so much more comfortable
Here's the thing.
with it.
It's for the same reason why child beauty pageants are creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, but
that's what he's talking about.
But those are intentionally meant to, like, beauty pageants.
And if you ask the people who defend those, they would say, no, it's totally not. It's a celebration of innocence. And they'd be full of shit, Scott.
Because they are.
I'm also going to put out there that Clamp made Cardcaptor Sakura, and it's a group of women. So I'm more inclined to err on the side of...
because women
Death
can't be
the
creepy.
author. Fuck it. I don't care who made it.
Hey, look, I'm just saying a group of women are less likely to sexualize little girls than, say, a lot of guys who write little girls for anime.
No, I understand all of your concerns. I don't think magical girls will ever appeal to you, because if it would ever do it, it would be in a state where it's relatable. Now that you are older, there's no reason you need to find some fulfillment in watching someone in middle school battle monsters in skimpy outfits. Like, you're not going to get anything out of that.
Yeah. Well, enough about old Cardcaptor Sakura and that whole conversation, which, while fascinating, and
I'm sure it's been had by people way more informed than I am.
Yeah. So, Cardcaptor cleared Card Saga. If you're not familiar with Cardcaptors,
Just to prove you wrong.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Usagi is 16.
Usagi's 16. I knew it.
Wait, Usagi is 16?
Okay.
Okay, that
At
was
the
always
end. At the end, yes.
No, I think she starts when she's like in.
No, she doesn't.
Swear to-
They start in
Are
middle
you telling me
school.
Darien is 12? No, he's not.
No, and that's the creepy part.
Mamoru is 19 and Usagi is 16, although it's still a bit uncomfortably close to the... At the start of the series, Mamoru is 17 years old. Usagi is 14-year-old middle school student.
Okay, 14.
At the start, she is 14.
Yeah, okay, 14. Not 12, still.
Oh, okay. Well, 14 is when it becomes okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yep, that's fine. Tell us about your dumb show.
Anyway, so if you're unfamiliar with Cardcaptor Sakura, just fucking tune out now, because you're not going to get anything out of this.
I know it enough.
Unfortunately, now I've crossed that invisible line where I realize I'm being a dick for the sake of it, and I'm gonna try and rein that back.
You're fine.
So I actually watched the prologue that came before this, which I actually think is sort of important because it covers a couple of things. It's Cardcaptor, it's Sakura to Futatsu no Kuma, or Sakura and the Two Bears. And I was wondering how the hell two bears and there's an explanation. The entire story is about, so at the end of the series, the last series, Lee Shout-on, the boy of the show, and Sakura defeat the final card. She basically seals all the cards. She's now like, okay, well, don't have to ever worry about this again. And now I'm just gonna go hang out with my friends Tomoe and Shaoran. And then Shaoran says, hey, so I've been he'd been visiting from Hong Kong the entire time. And he's like, yeah, so I've kind of got to go back to Hong Kong. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, I love you.
Okay.
He exclaims his love to her before he has to go back. And I understand why, but the entire thing is just like, oh, dick move. I mean, like, what do you do? Do you not say it before you go? But it's like, hey, so I wanted to tell you that I love you, and I've also got to go back to fucking Hong Kong, so I'm moving. I don't know when I'll be back. Bye. And the entire special is just her coming to terms with that. Like, oh, shoot, how do I feel about that? Meanwhile, another character that is introduced way later into the show, Ariel, and his whole gang. He's basically the male version of her in a lot of ways.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah. He even has his own little, like, it's called Spino. Instead of Cerberus or Keroberos, it's a little panther version, and he's adorable.
Okay.
And he's super sardonic and dry until he gets sweets into him, and then he basically just becomes Kero, but even bigger.
Okay.
So he's going back to England, and he even tells her, like, yo, so next time somebody leaves, compare that to me. Compare it to how you felt when I left. And she's like, why? And he's like, you'll figure out who's the most important to you. And so when Shaoran, like, she's sad that Ariel is leaving, but she comes to terms with it. When Shaoran leaves, she doesn't know what to do. She's torn apart, and she realizes, oh man, if this is how I feel when he's leaving, I have to be in love with him. So she ends up staying up all night, makes him a cute little bear, gives her the bear, which is great because he had given her a bear episodes ago. Picked out one in this great episode where they all, like, so she's had his bear, now she has her bear. It's really cute. And the episode ends with her going from junior high to middle school, or no, elementary to middle. It's her first year of middle school, and it's a whole new school. She's happy, great. Credits roll, and then for some reason, after the credits, Sharon's back. It's been a whole season. Like, apparently, the whole season went by, and he's back.
Okay.
I don't know why they did this, and I feel like it's a setup. Like,
I mean, obviously.
Like, what was he doing in Hong Kong?
Yeah.
But the turnaround on that was strange. And when I watched the next episode, they take right off from there. It's like, yep, Shaoran, like, they kind of redo the scene where Shaoran comes back, but it's kind of one of the opening scenes. Also,
this episode 1?
Yeah, this is episode 1 proper. Also, she starts having dreams about somebody, and apparently all the cards that she collected have now become clear, and she can no longer use them.
Okay.
And now new elements start popping up, just like they did in the original series. And she's got a new key with a new wand that looks really cool.
Season 2, I like it.
Yeah.
New merch.
And well, she already did that once. She
Yeah.
already got she's gotten a couple new wands. So this one's crazier, got wings on it, and
Only takes 2 batteries.
and you know, defeats the new monster. And again, it's very average. Like, okay, we're getting back to meeting these characters. And let me tell you, as somebody, I felt like I just walked off, like, the old series and right onto the new one. There's no separation.
That's great. That's good to hear.
Except one thing. They're doing something with the post-processing, the filtering, to make everything brighter.
I noticed it looked
No,
pastel-y and
I
shit.
hate it.
Oh,
like,
really?
I hate that look. I really wish they would rein it in, because I want to see, like, I liked the kind of what do you say it? The old coloring scheme kind of gave me this,
it was
like,
a little muted, kind of.
it was a little,
I don't know what to
muted,
call
but
it.
I felt like I was like reading a storybook almost.
Yeah.
And this is very like modern anime, and I'm like, oh, tone down the post processing just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I don't need everything to look like it's like bright goddamn day all the time. Also, using a lot of CG, and I'm kind of uncomfortable with that because I'm not the kind of guy
CG
who's
for like what?
the
magic,
magic, her stealing cards, like, really obviously this is CG and not CG enhanced 2D. Like, when she steals the cards, there's these large crystal like expanses that are all like, well, that looks like it's straight out of Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15, not Final Fantasy 7. That's good.
Well, yeah. No, again, it's modern anime CG, so you're probably going to be okay.
All right.
Like, things have gotten way better since the days of, say, oh, gosh. I could name, oh, God, Crest of the Stars? Was it? Oh, man, trust me. Old anime CG used to be the worst.
Oh, of course. It was terrible.
Yeah, so it's not bad, but I don't know. Overall, for me, though, again, I felt like I was going. I'm beat missed otherwise. So I'm kind of curious where things are going to go from here.
Real quick, is this an adaptation of the manga?
Yeah.
So the manga, is it done?
No.
Okay.
And that's the thing that's got me really concerned. I didn't even know there was a sequel manga. I think maybe I'd learned about it a while back, but I didn't care because for me, Cardcaptor Sakura is like, no, I need the anime. Give me the anime. I need my beautiful visuals, my adorable characters in motion. I don't want to read.
Yeah.
They're like.
It's what everybody says.
there are a lot of things I prefer the manga. One Piece. I couldn't watch the anime. Forget that.
Yeah.
Seven Deadly Sins.
Well,
next season.
That's the thing. There was that one. The One Piece movie with the Alabasta arc, and that was a real good way to experience that. If all of One Piece anime was that, well-paced adaptations, then it would be great. I would love that. That's not what the One Piece anime is.
I'd like to put out there that the Alabasta arc film is only effective if you've seen the show, because if you go into that completely
or read the manga.
Yeah, or read the manga.
If you know the story, it would be incoherent if you didn't know what you were getting into.
Yeah. They also cut out best song for when he beats Crocodile, so fuck it. All right, so we're getting the signal from our cameraman, so we'll be right back after these, not messages, because did we put things in between? I don't know.
Sometimes, when I feel like it.
Yay.
See if Ben feels like it.
So yeah, Cardcaptor Sakura, Clear Card Saga. I'm totally into it. So you can continue to watch Unsnipped over the next couple of weeks as I talk about Cardcaptor Sakura, and these losers sit here not knowing what I'm talking about.
Yep, me being a loser. I got Kamen Rider, dude. I know where my plastic is. It's Gunpla, it's Kamen Rider belts, and something else.
I like that. I mean, I'm the guy who bought like a bunch of the Legacy Power Ranger toys.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. They had those Cloud Card sets at Toys R Us. I almost got the whole thing. And I even had I almost got the wand, and I could bring Ben back if I only had 6 D batteries. It vibrates.
Guys. Kokkoku.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about what ended up actually being my luck.
Yes. So, and I'm glad, because I was eyeing this for my lock as well. Because again, sounds like a cool premise. Doesn't seem to be getting quite as much buzz.
And the main thing that sets this apart is that the main characters are adults.
Yay!
And looking at this season, let me tell you, it looks like we're gonna have some high-pitched voices to listen to for the next couple of weeks. So I needed some adults, and yeah.
I also was eyeing this one too because I had to make the poll for everything. I looked at all the summaries. I was like, oh, cool, that sounds neat. I got Stranger Things vibes from the description, hearing that there's another world, and like the key visual has like her, and then under it you can put this picture right here. It has her, then it has her like upside down, and then you see like the claw of like some monster dividing the worlds. I'm like, that's just fucking Stranger Things, my dude. So that's why I kind of got that vibe earlier when you see like the little light particles and dust shit.
Also, this series is based off a manga that's finished, so we're probably going to get a full adaptation. I want to point that out immediately because, man, you don't get that enough nowadays.
Yeah. So this starts off. I had some qualms with the opening. It seems like you two were a bit more positive to it. We see this older woman applying for a job. She flunks out and she goes back home.
Young woman, 22.
Yeah.
Yes, young woman. Sorry.
I'm not old. I'm 37.
Yeah. We see her like failing at all this stuff, and then she comes back and she's all on the floor, sad, and this really good moment with the grandpa because she's going off like, oh, I can't believe it. Everyone in my family, just kind of veiled exposition. Everyone in my family is so defunct, and he's pouring a sake. And she's like, I can't believe it. Just like my dad, he's not doing anything. He's drinking during the day. And then just pan over shot to the grandpa, like just completely, like he's all white. He's just like, oh.
No, I like the actual wording is even better. Because he's like, at some point I expect him to start drinking during the day.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like.
And she's like, "Oh, you're retired. You are just a blight on society now. Do whatever." We're just waiting until you kick it, Grandpa.
No, that's what we said, to be clear. She said, "Oh, no, it's okay for you. You're retired. Please, drink up. Don't let me make you feel bad."
To be fair, when you retire in Japan, it's a big deal. That means that you served your time. You served your nickel.
Yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
That's they focus a lot here on the thing that I don't really enjoy about the culture stuff with the stigma of age. They like really hammer that, and they really want you to know, yeah, my 25-year-old sister has this thing, and my 31-year-old brother's a dropout. Like, I don't know. Just like, get to the point. But they do fast enough.
I liked that whole setup, though, partially for me because I love the fact that this wants to spend time with these characters and show you their situation, their attitude, because a lot of stuff like this, a lot of these fantasy anime will try and just kind of breeze through this stuff to get to the fantasy elements as quickly as possible. I've always hated that because my favorite fantasy elements were ones that endeared you to the human side first and foremost, which is something I felt like Spielberg has always been really good at doing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and so for here, it was good to see not only her conflict but her family's conflict as well. I like the fact that also, you know, you don't see the sister, but yeah, apparently the sister had a kid out of wedlock with a guy nobody even knows who he is, and she's more concerned about his safety than anything else. And I love the line. She has a line in there who's like, "Man, it's really sad that I kind of feel like he's our last hope for making a functional adult in this family because even she's not all that great." Like, she can't get a job.
Yeah, she's at least out there trying, unlike her brother and dad, but...
Yeah.
I love the scene where the uncle... It starts with a Y. I can't remember what his damn name is.
Tsubasa.
Yeah, Tsubasa, yeah. When Uncle Tsubasa goes to the school to pick up his nephew.
Oh, yeah, no, that was good.
Yeah, and the teacher calls her up and is like, I don't know who this man is. Is that
Some ragged man showed up. Who is this?
Yeah, and she makes a joke that I don't know who that is at first.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because I'm like, oh, man, that you don't see that kind of humor very often.
That was good.
And she's like, "Miss, yes? That's not funny." So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
And
sorry.
she tries to joke again. She's like, "No, but seriously, what do you think of my hot brother?"
Yeah.
This is not a hot brother. and yeah, I'm pretty sure that is when she actually says, "That's not funny."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she ends up apologizing, and he picks up the nephew. But that's when they get abducted.
Yep.
And so the one thing out of this, like, well, okay, no, it makes more sense after you find out what happens later. When they first get abducted, it's like, really? This is the story we're going with? Her brother and nephew are suddenly abducted? Like, it didn't make much sense at first, and it kind of just seemed like a conflict thrown in there. And then we figure out why.
Yeah, well, they drop a hint, like, pretty early,
yeah.
which is that they meant to kidnap her, because she's usually the person who goes and picks up this nephew. Apparently, they'd been stalking them for a while.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
'cause they have like that dossier thing out.
Yeah,
and
they
you
were
can
going to
see it
kidnap her and sell her into sex slavery. And they fucked up and got the wrong people instead.
Did they say
there. Did they say that?
It was strongly implied.
I didn't get that vibe. I thought they were setting up for the other. I thought they were kidnapping them so that the other people were coming to take advantage of that.
Yeah, because they even...
That's what I thought.
I don't know. Because I feel like they were hired by these
that's what I thought.
the guys at the end.
Oh, could have been, but yeah,
Because-
as far as those kidnappers were concerned, yeah, they were kidnapping the girl,
Yeah.
the main character, Jury.
Jury.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the entire point is that they want the girl.
Right.
They even mention like, no, none of these other fuckers matter. Get the girl. And so that's why then that was interesting to me. I was not expecting. I was expecting fantasy elements. I wasn't expecting it to go right into like, all right, I guess we'll use the rock. Come on, sit down.
Yeah,
and
so
they're like, we don't have
Grandpa-
time for this. Our nephew's been kidnapped.
Shut up and sit down.
Even slaps his son. I love that.
Yeah, I like
Yeah, that was really
assertive. I love assertive grandparents. I always like that.
I mean, that's who you married last time.
Yeah.
Eventually grew into being an assertive granddad.
Yeah. So I don't know. For me, I'm really hoping for this show because it looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's got interesting concepts. I'm a little afraid we're going to go into over-the-top evil territory with the bad guys, because the moment you see them, you're like, oh, okay, looks like we've got this group of bad guys who are probably looking to use all this magic for nefarious purposes. There's talks of bloodlines, and oh boy.
Yeah, well, Granddad, when they're like walking to this abandoned building where they're supposed to deliver, what was it, 5 million yen, which this family doesn't have a bunch of money lying around.
That's by the way,
that was clearly Plan B.
It's about 50.
That's $50,000.
Yeah.
And they talk about the savings and that they have enough, so it's interesting.
Yeah, but regardless, he's talking to his son and his granddaughter about lots of people have misused this. That's what his granddad told him when he taught him how to do this thing with this mysterious stone. He explains, nobody really knows how this works. I did very much like that his son, the main character's father, brings up every
I loved that.
Every nerdy ass nitpick about this sort of time stopping conceit, which is how are we breathing if the air is not moving as fast?
What about friction?
Yeah, what about friction with the air because we're moving through it at a supersonic speed? Like, shouldn't this be? And the granddad's like, I don't know, it's fucking magic. Nobody knows how this works. What do you want from me?
Yes, no, I love that because it is flat out. It is the unreliable, reliable narrator saying like, the fuck do you expect? I don't know.
Yeah. Immediate diffusal for shit I always hated of critiquing stories like this, because that is the answer. It's fucking magic. That is the point. The point is not how does it work. The point is, what if? Yeah. Let's go.
I would much rather have an acknowledgement of we don't know how this works, rather than trying to give an explanation that doesn't work.
Yeah, that's one of those things that if you try to over-explain it, then you're just gonna fuck it up more. Yeah. You know what that leads to? The Speed Force.
And midichlorians.
Yeah. Anybody in there who's read any Flash comics know that the Speed Force is a thing, and I probably pissed off a bunch of people who really like the Flash comics, but it's dumb because it boils down to fucking magic.
Pretty much.
So why not just cut out the middleman and go, fucking magic?
You've got magic superheroes.
Which don't get me wrong, I enjoy stories that are all about the science of these things.
Yeah,
but they've got to kind of be about that.
They have their own venue for that. You can't tell me.
Yeah, but also the actual scientific, like if you want to get down to hard science, then if time is not moving, photons are not moving through the air and impacting your eyeball, so you are blind while time is stopped.
Yep.
That sounds like a real fun premise for a story.
You can go the hard sci-fi route, or we could say, hey, let's have some goofy fun. And I'm always on that side.
That said, what I do want out of stories like this is believable characters, and it did stretch credulity a little that Granddad explains to them, lots of people have done some real nasty shit with this power. The first thing a lot of people do is steal everybody's wallet, go peep in the ladies' changing room, and I never did that. Because I've never used this power since I was a kid, since my granddad taught me how to use it, just never used it. That strains credulity to me. Because I like the fact that he's basically dropping the Ring of Gaiji's fable on him. Like, that's cool. But I hope it doesn't turn out that he's telling the absolute truth and he is the perfect human who is handed the Ring of Gaiji's and never uses it, because that sounds like horseshit to me.
I don't think we're getting that, because we already had a flashback to her as a kid seeing it, so he must have done it at some point then. Yeah. And because he was like, oh, you remembered? So I'm assuming something else happened previously that he didn't want her to know about. I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting, because I don't know. With the granddad, he's got secrets. I mean, it's very obvious. That
he starts teleporting at the end and doesn't say how.
Yeah, that's true too.
Teleporting grandpa. Actually, I kind of love that whole bit with him teleporting, because he's like, it's never far enough.
The thing I don't like that we were already getting, because I just see shows try to do this, and I hope it doesn't, where they add in just this game. They try to gamify a lot of shit. We have someone here who is clearly not familiar with the gang or the time-stoppy thing, being told to kill someone. And it's like, you gotta do it. Why don't you just fucking kill him? And because one of the gang members is ordering this other dude who's clearly inexperienced. He's just kind of there. So I'm already like, okay, what are we gonna have? Are we gonna have a gang that is kidnapping people and forcing them in time? Or I don't know, the guy who survives stop time wins a wish. I just hope to God that's not what happens. I don't want a stupid shit.
We'll see. I mean, Again, great first episode in terms of giving us enough to be interested, not explaining too much, and again, it looks really good.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we've talked much about it other than like some of the CG that was used.
Oh no, you kind of went off at length in the main segment about it because it really is that good.
Yeah.
Also, the freaky monster that shows up, really cool design.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he looks like a Bloodborne monster. I appreciated that. He looks nuts.
There's nothing I enjoy more than surreality in my monsters. I want a monster that has human elements, but distinctly non-human shit where they're like the distinguishing element should be.
Yeah.
I love and also size. A big monster like that, like one of my favorite conceptual monsters are those skeletons, the giant skeletons.
Oh yeah,
yes,
the huge ones that go behind you. And
yes, and the idea is that you never see them because you don't look up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
That's so cool.
Yeah, because to me, like I love monsters that are completely outside of the realm of reality. Like, because it's either my monsters need to be completely human or completely non-human.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that said, yeah, I thought it was like that last bit got pretty confusing. I'm hoping we get a little more to go on. I'm hoping it's not quite that fast and furious because in very short order, we're introduced to like, okay, there's the regular gang member guys who kidnap them are stopped. They're frozen where they are. And then a bunch more guys show up who they are not visually distinct from the normal ass gang members.
Yeah, so they might be related.
Yeah, they might be related. They might be totally different, but they just kind of show up and it's like, oh, okay, they're moving. Wait, what's going on?
Well, as you'll see, there's the two guys very specifically, and the one dude who like seems to be their muscle. Then there were the other dudes that they look like they were just like bought. Like they went and it's like, hey, here's some money, do some dirty work for us. But the two guys with the suits are obviously those guys are leading this whole, like, whatever this thing is right now, they're leading this.
Yeah.
We don't know if they're the big bad, but they're definitely like, okay, they're separate from whatever gang we've been introduced to thus far as, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. That's a lot to parse in very short order, and I think that could have been streamlined a lot. I don't like
the introduction of the guys at the end of the first episode really caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I still don't know how I feel about it. I'm gonna have to see how it plays out.
Well, I've always been that guy of like, I don't mind if I'm left confused by the end of the first episode, but I can't do that every episode. Like they're like because I always look at these opening bits as an arc, you know, like this is the opening arc of the show. Again, that's why I personally really like the 3-episode rule, because in those first 3 episodes, I get a feel for, okay, what is this series? What's the premise? What's the idea? Because 22 minutes may sound like a lot of time on paper. It is not a lot of time to introduce a whole concept, characters, all these elements without giving some questions that still need to be answered.
I mean, that said, it's not like we didn't have plenty of questions before that point that still need to be answered.
You could have just had to stop time, and also there's other things here.
Yeah.
Also, I can teleport.
Yeah, Grandpa can teleport. Where did this stone come from, and how does it work? Why does it need blood? What are these freaky sperm spirits that float around? What's this big giant monster? Who are these other guys who get, like, we are just broadsided by all these mysteries.
It felt like the worst of some shonen shit for me. Like, I swear that whoever's leading the gang is 2 scars away from being every first episode shonen antagonist.
A little bit.
Like, it was just like, oh, I can't believe it. He has the bloodline. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Although I like how he flat out says, like, I'm actually jealous. I don't know why. That was a very human thing for the villain to admit there.
Yeah, I don't know. I was intrigued enough.
Yep.
I like clock stoppers. I'm sure it'll be fine. I will definitely check out more of it.
Yep. Well, it feels like we're coming to a wrap-up point here. Guys, stay tuned next week. We're going to watch more of all this stuff because that's the rule. Actually, nothing would have gotten killed anyway. In fact, I think we got Trifucks all the way around this week.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not too surprised, but
yeah, I mean, of the things that we were holding up cards for, yeah. But and I'm not surprised either because even like we have made it a rule, nothing dies before its 3rd episode.
So we're like mentally already like give it some leeway.
But yeah, even without that, like you will notice, and actually even after that is no longer the case because we have the only one thing can die per week rule.
Yep.
Like, guess what? We're always grading on a curve.
Now, that being said, like, not everything's going to be on its third episode by, like, by the time we get to, say...
Yeah, we are going
the
to...
staggered order will be in our favor if it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
so
can get you out of
if on that third week your first episode is garbage, I mean, then again, if you're like...
Well,
if it's,
no. The rule is everything gets 3 episodes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
everything
so
gets 3
everything does-
episodes.
Yeah.
So it's not 3 weeks. It's full on 3 episodes
Yeah,
for each
3
show.
episodes.
All
Yeah.
right.
So if something doesn't start until our like second or third week, it's still safe for its first 3 episodes.
So you think if Junji Ito does not improve in the next 2 weeks, it could be gone. It could be the first thing gone.
Could be.
Man,
Could be. That would be my biggest disappointment already.
Oh man, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what the future holds.
Hey, you know what? You know what it's already better than?
What?
Infinity Force.
It is.
It's better than Infinity Force, King's Game, and
Diaz
Irae.
Yep.
It's not
Like
bad.
so, God.
It is better than those first 3 episodes of King's Game put
terrible.
together.
Yeah, they're terrible.
All right, guys. We will see you next week.
See ya.
Bye-bye.